All right, what's good, everybody? So today we're here doing an unboxing of the Switch 2 and just trying to get our initial reactions. So we just finished shooting the unboxing itself. Here's the Switch 2 in its entirety. And I just want to, we haven't gotten the chance to do a deep dive yet, but wanted to do an initial review.
I am not a handheld person, but you know what? I can't deny when I have new technology in front of me, I want to get my hands on it and just feel for what it feels like.
And I gotta say, it does feel really nice in hand. There is a little bit more of a texture to the device itself.
It's really nice. It does feel very premium compared to the Switch 1 that we have here, right? A little bit more of a candy bar kind of a feel, the blue and red here.
It's definitely bigger than the Switch 1, of course.
It's the fact that it's bigger. I'm a bigger guy, I have bigger hands here.
But not by much. This is the Switch 1.
Yeah, I can definitely get into this. One of the things I always had an issue with handhelds is that the size, right?
A little bit larger.
Always preferred playing on the console on the big TV, just mainly because, my eyes getting older.
But still doesn't feel much of a drastic jump.
I always would have a hard time playing on something like this
compared to if you went from the Switch 1 to something like the Steam Deck.
Steam Deck here is that, as much as Steam Deck is much bigger, it is one hefty looking device here. Like,
this felt like a really large jump when I first picked up my Steam Deck.
Well, you take this out onto like an airport and the bus, it's like, whoa, what's going on here? Right? You probably murder someone with this guy right here.
But for the most part, I've gotten used to it, and so having something a little bit more in between does feel pretty nice.
We have the usual controller here with the Switch. Pretty much looks the same thing as the original for the most part. Can't say it's the most comfortable thing. I would probably think that when we start playing to this, I'm gonna find myself enjoying it more like this versus with this on the TV, unless I got my hands on the Pro Controller.
I will say I do think it's still a little too thin, a little too small in hand. Like, ergonomics still don't feel super great, but I don't know. We'll see once we start doing deeper dives into the actual the device itself.
We got our hands here, Mario Kart World, to try it out and see how it plays.
And especially when we try to play some more of these more intensive games, like something like a CD Projekt Red game, Cyberpunk and things like that.
Because I'm curious to see how well this thing can handle something more intensive like Cyberpunk, and how the new chip, handles the game that's, granted Cyberpunk is about 4 or 5 years old, but still a pretty hardware intensive game.
Or anything that's like really intensive that you kind of have to do a lot of like button mashing. Sometimes that can be really hard on your hands. Playing something like, Mega Man or something like that on the Switch 1 was very painful after a series of time. So we'll see if the Switch 2 feels a little bit better. But I will say one of the big pluses, I think, from this, just an initial review, is the controllers and how they connect to it themselves. At first I was a little skeptical of the magnets, but they feel really good in hand. There's no like sliding, it just kind of pops in and also pops out and in the same direction. So once you kind of press this button, it'll just automatically release.
And we'll see how this runs.
Stay tuned for more of a deep dive with Ninja Divider. All right, bye.